I haven't. Hey, communist guy. You spelled communist wrong. I don't know if that's because with two M's was taken, or if that was unintentional. Also, by the way, chat, you're able to capitalize. You can change your name in the chat room on Hitbox, which I think is really cool. So you can actually capitalize the letters if you want to. Hi, I'm Mah-Dry-Bread, and I'm playing the Guild 2 Renaissance. Guild 2 Renaissance is kind of a money management / simulation game. I'm being a rogue. I'm starting a crime syndicate. And I'm a 23-year-old Canadian, or about to turn 23-year-old Canadian guy with a beard that everyone talks about. And my job is YouTube, and I've been doing a video a day for 4+ years. Link in the description. So that's who I am. Yeah, you can change your name here on Hitbox. You can't actually change the name, so the capitalization was the least of your worries. I'm pretty sure you can change the name. Don't remember how. Hey, is eating all the mushrooms still in the chat? I don't think she is. I think she's gone now. I don't see her on my viewer list, but the viewer list tends to be a little bit wonky. Sometimes it's out of date, you know? You can only change capitalization for your username on Hitbox. Okay, I didn't know that. How many years ago was Evil Genius? I want to say 2. I got a question for the chat. I actually don't know this, and I should know this, but I don't know it. Could someone open up a tab of the main screen of Hitbox and tell me if there is a filter option for languages? Because I actually don't remember, and if there is, I'd like to know how up on the main page am I for English-speaking channels. Because I know I'm like 25th on the main page right now in general. But a lot of the most popular streams on this website are Portuguese, I believe. I think most of the big guys here are from Brazil. Although I think there are a lot of Spanish ones too. I believe South America in general is quite popular for Hitbox. Probably more popular than English streams even, which I think is super cool having that international fan base. It's just bringing game streaming to a whole nother audience, which I think is always awesome. Communist guys from Brazil. I actually got a decent amount of Brazilian fans because of Hitbox, which I think is awesome. Because I actually know a little bit about modern Brazil. I'm huge into learning about history of countries. I love history. And Brazil has a really interesting modern history, I find. It's funny, I like to refer to Brazil as a country that, by all means, should be a world superpower, but doesn't seem to be mostly due to really bad mismanagement. I don't know. I really like to see Brazil one day. Oh, fuck! I'm an assessor in court every day. I'd really like to see Brazil become a superpower, like really big. Like they got these problems with the government being like really openly corrupt, and these insane defamation laws that don't make any sense, and they're really horrible import tariffs that really means that the people don't get the kind of goods that they need, and that it's insanely expensive to import stuff, so it jacks up the price for the people. And the people have to pay ridiculous prices for game consoles because of some weird gambling law? I think it was some weird gambling law. Yeah, the problem is corruption in Brazil. And I think that's a shame, because by all means, Brazil should be one of the most, like, financially successful countries. The people should be much better off. Unfortunately, like, impoverished people in Brazil are really, like, really not doing well. I don't know. I think Brazil is the perfect example of a country that is really fucking cool and deserves better, and can become a lot better. It just needs a solid, long period of time with a really organized, proper government. I'm sure it will happen at some point. No, I don't speak any Portuguese. I actually only speak English and a few words in French. I'm not a good Canadian. You can't... I'm the 22nd on the English filter. Okay, thank you. Let's watch this.
Anything else? Defendant, you are naught but a brutal thug.
Well, he does have an eye patch and a bandana.
Unfortunately, someone had to find out the hard way. Again. And I intend to demand fitting punishment.
Yeah, Brazil's got that insane law about video games being considered gambling, so they had this giant tax on them.
Tremble.
Fuck, it's so dumb.
Can you remember anything about the
Hey,
recent
communist
past?
guy. You want to buy games at an American
That's
price,
too
so it's way
bad.
cheaper? If you want to buy
For I
PC
just
games
gave the
cheap,
court a number of
go to my
proofs of
G2A
your
link in
offences
the
against
description,
another citizen
and I believe you can get
during
US
just that
prices off
period.
that. You can go buy Sid Meier's Civilization 5 for like $5 and stuff. You shouldn't have to put up with your bullshit prices just to enjoy video games. And if you use my G2A link, then G2A gives me a little bit of money each purchase to basically incentivize me to tell people to go there. You don't pay the money that they give me. They give me the money out of pocket. So if you put up with bullshit prices because of stuff like that, use websites like G2A.
Downright impertinence it is for this
The guy completely bombed his defense.
before this honorable court.
Loss
And
is
accuse me of
incredibly
such
steep,
things.
where you actually lose a rank
I am,
in
of
the
course,
public opinion.
not guilty.
But the plaintiff said to do high fine, so it'll be brought down to high fine if guilty. And I think everyone's gonna go guilty on this guy. I know I am. So it's looking like the guy fucked up again. He could have gotten him to lose a rank, but instead he's just getting a high fine.
Guilty.
I do like the court system in this game. It is fun.
Guilty.
I just sat on the air while saying it. Yeah, 4,000 for a PS4 in Brazil. That is insane. Didn't the Xbox One recently become cheaper in Brazil because Microsoft put a producing studio in like Brazil so they could like manufacture it to get around the tariffs? Because man, Brazil got some oppressive tariffs. Just insane. It's funny. Usually when you say like really political stuff, there's always at least someone who really is angry at you for it. Every time I've ever talked about how corrupt Brazil's government is, every Brazilian person I've ever talked to has been like, you're 100% on the mark, I completely agree with you, it's bullshit. I just love how unanimous it is. Like, it seems like no one likes what Brazilian government is doing. I guess I don't know, like, Brazil is a democracy, right? Like, how is it rigged, or is there only one candidate? Like, is it that is just picking the lesser evils, like everyone is corrupt to some degree? Do you have like a cabinet system where there's always a certain cabinet that's always in? I don't know too much about the actual like political landscape of Brazil. I'm mostly familiar with Canadian and American in terms of how their government structures work, in which Canadian is very different, actually. MDB, is loss that bad? Loss is not bad at all if you're a very low-ranking person, but if you're a high-ranking person, like a nobleman, then loss could be the loss of 60,000 gold, because you're going down a rank and you need to buy that rank back to get your privileges back and your ability to own a large financial empire. So by losing that rank and having to go rebuy it, you're potentially out tens or even hundreds of thousands of gold pieces, which is way more than a high fine, which tends to be a few thousand. NDB, you're awesome. You have me hooked for life. I'm happy you're enjoying it. This is why I really, really like the streams, because I get to talk to people live, and it's just a lot of fun. Like, I like the vlogs because I can just talk back and forth with you guys, but the streams are so much better for that, because then I can see what you're saying live and just chat. And this is a good game for that, because it's a nice background thing. We can turn to it every once in a while. It's just fun. You should learn Brazilian history. It's very interesting. I do need to learn more about Brazilian history. I love learning the history of so many countries. It's just, you know, so many countries exist and have existed. It's hard to keep up. And it looks like maybe not today in-game, but the next day in-game, we're probably going to have enough money to upgrade. We might get enough today, but I'm worried about the wages. But we're going to be able to upgrade our German bar and really start making some money. So we just goaded our workers in both of our bars. That's what I did there. We just maxed out our charisma at 10 on Mah-Dry-Bread, which is very expensive because he is a rogue, so he has to pay extra experience for that. I'm already a leader. Constitutional Miracle is always solid, where you get more maximum constitution points. So I think I'm going to go with that one just to get a longer lifespan. If you really want to be a badass, you start with the Aries birth sign for a free constitution point, put 10 points in constitution, do Constitutional Miracle twice, and then sell your soul to the devil at level 10. And your average lifespan at that point, despite it being the Renaissance, your average lifespan will be, I think, 150. You'll live 150 years. It's insane. You know, assuming you don't get murdered. We were a colony, then a monarchy. After that, we became a republic. And after that, a good and bad dictatorship. So are you currently a dictatorship? Or are you a republic right now? Because I think a republic is one of the lost art forms of government. Not to get super political on everyone, like, I'm really mild when it comes to political leanings. I'm willing to hear anyone out. Like, I hate people who just, you know, they're like, oh, you're pro this thing, I instantly hate you. I think it's ridiculous. I think that we won't ever grow as a society unless we really listen to everyone. You're in a republic right now. I think republics are a really cool idea that need to be used more often, like a proper republic. Because the way I look at countries in general, I feel like the world can never be held under just one country's banner and be successful, because there are cultural differences all across the world. Every country is different, every culture is different, and you're never going to find one answer that uniformly works across the entire world. That's why you see so many very small countries that are where the people are very well off. There's very little disparity between the low-earning people and the high-earning people, and everyone tends to be, in general, very happy and safe in very small countries because they can cater to their... They have a very small economy to manage, a very small, focused economy to manage. They have a lot of trade with their nearby neighbors and can focus a lot on a trade economy. And they can really cater to the needs of their very few in general people, which is why I think that the world is probably a better place when the world is broken up into a lot of very small countries that work together very tightly. And that's why I think that a republic is such a good idea if run properly, because it's kind of like what a republic is. It's kind of like a series of miniature countries that are all held together in a loose rule of teamwork under a certain banner of a country, in which they all generally work together, and at their core, they have a certain set of rules that they all have to obey, but for the most part, they have their own rules. And a rough, big economy that they all contribute to. And I think republics are really cool that way. But as I see that your name in the chat is Communist Guy, I'm actually super pro-communism and socialism in general, if done properly. Some people like to spout off and say that... like, oh, communism never works because it'll always corrupt. I honestly think that's just a really lazy answer because they've heard that answer and it sounds proper, so they spout it out as if it's fact. Despite, you know, what is the most economically... The biggest economic powerhouse in the entire world is China, a communist nation. They're called the People's Republic of China, but it's a communist nation. It's run by the Communist Party of China. And it's honestly not a very communist party, like, to be fair. They don't run it like true socialism. It's honestly a little bit more like a really tightly run republic, or no, not even a republic. It's like an incredibly tightly run democracy is what I would call it in terms of election-wise, where you can elect other people, but the main driving force is the people that are already political higher-ups. And you're mostly voting for a cabinet of people, and it's highly, highly political even who gets voted in, like in terms of like friendships and stuff. It's honestly very corrupt, and it's not terribly successful, either than that they run a very powerful economy. But in general, I think communism has shown in its past that when run properly, it is very successful. Look at Vladimir Lenin's era of Russia when it was the USSR. It was a golden age for Russia. They had just come out of a very bad, long, ineffective monarchy and went into communism, and it was a golden age for them. It got bad, and honestly, it got bad kind of fast due to a lot of mismanagement and a lot of corruption. That started, honestly, around the time of Stalin, who Vladimir Lenin was on record as saying he didn't want Stalin to become the leader. He was a great Secretary of Defense, he was a great military mind, but he was not fit to be a leader, and we saw that when he became leader. He was great at military, and a very cruel man outside of that. But did the stream die for a second? I still see her. It's back? The recording on YouTube will have been fine. Sorry about that, guys. I was just saying that
Building has been upgraded.
Russia was great when it was communist under Vladimir Lenin, and it got kind of bad pretty fast from corruption when people like Stalin came into power, who Vladimir Lenin never wanted him to go into power, but he basically bribed and threatened his way up. All right, so we can start upgrading this place. Let's get bathtubs, which increase the charisma of my workers. Paintings to increase the attractiveness so more people come in. We want pirate grog so we can start importing our first illegal alcohol. And workspace so we can hire more people. We're actually cutting it really close to nighttime, so we're probably going to go into debt tonight. We'll work it off tomorrow. And as soon as I can, I'm smuggling alcohol. You know, once every 8 hours, you get it in buckets of 10, and you sell it in your sales stock while serving your guests, and they'll pay a high price for it because it's illegal, and they can't get it anywhere else. Super cool. Can't wait to get more staff here, too, just so I have more people serving drinks. Hey, Renai. Oh, I read your name earlier, but I think I got it wrong. What's the objective of this game? Well, in Dynasty mode, which we're in right now, just Dynasty mode, it is simply to be the last dynasty standing. Anytime you see people come in who are very colorful in their garbs, you know that they're part of a dynasty. They're part of a family that will keep having generations and generations of people, and they own their own lucrative businesses. You'll have feuds with different dynasties over time where they're trying to put you out of business, or they're trying to even kill you maybe, get you in jail, or making alliances so you can get a monopoly over the trade amongst the different cities. And our goal is to be the very last one surviving. There are 12 dynasties, which is the most you can have in this map. I put 12 because I want a lot of them. And right now I have not taken any aggressive action against anyone. I have not even taken any political action. I have only ever even applied to court in Norway once, and I didn't get in because the mayor there was the one voting, and the mayor hated me. Don't know why. But yeah. So we're going to be the last one standing. But right now I'm trying to get a good financial backbone before I start picking fights. But we are a rogue empire, which means we can start to build up our financial empire of highwaymen, brigands, robbers, mercenaries, the dangerous ones. So if it were to come to all-out family warfare, I'm the one with the weapons. Unless I fight someone who's a blacksmith, then he might be the one with the weapons. But I'm the one with the guys trained in combat. So I'll have an easy time getting combatants. Yep, Terminator's gonna be in WWE 2K16, which I think is really cool. We're 2,000 in debt now, we just paid wages. And I think now is actually a good time for a solid 5-minute break. So let's save that. Make sure we don't lose anything. Game does autosave every time the day goes by, which is a year in-game, is what it's set to right now, where 1 day equals 1 year. And we're going to go on a quick 5-minute break on YouTube. No time will have passed. And here on Hitbox, we're going to be able to chat live a little bit during the break. So just more incentive for you to come and show up live next time. I'll be back in 5 minutes. Hey everybody, welcome back. Crazy debt still. No time has passed. I had to fix a weird little glitch, so our save file actually looks bugged out, but the save file is actually fine. It's just the preview that's bugged out. This is a certain beta patch we're on.
Food is being offered at a good price in a counting house.
40 roast beef is being offered at a low price. I don't want to know why you're selling your roast beef at a low price, but it frightens me. What's your favorite history subject to talk about? I don't know. I couldn't choose. I love too much of history to narrow it down. It's like picking between children. Every bit of it, history is interesting in its own way. Lightning Burglary is really nice, and so is Face of Innocence, though, where they forget your crimes faster. I'm gonna go Face of Innocence on her. We have Lightning Burglary on Mah-Dry. Russian history is definitely one of the most interesting. Roman history, Russian history, 1980s American history, and 50s American history. Colonial Canadian history is pretty interesting. Indian history, Chinese history, Mongolian history is interesting. God, fucking every country's got interesting history. I stand by the statement of every single country is really fucking cool when you take enough time to learn about their history.